Hi there, everybody. This is Wendy Hernandez, attorney and creator of Command the Courtroom. And I'm really happy today to bring you an interview with somebody who's actually very near and dear to my heart. It's a former client of mine, and we recently finished up a case. And although I only helped him for a little while, his battle had been going on for years prior. My client is really wise. He's really well spoken. He has ideas for people, especially fathers who feel like they don't have hope, who feel powerless, who feel like maybe just because they weren't the primary caretaker that they can't end up where they want to be with their kids, which is having a lot of time, maybe equal time or most of the time with them. And he's an inspiration. I mean, we were preparing for trial not too long ago, and I really, time flew by like nothing listening to what he had to say, because he was so engaging and just had so many words of wisdom. And I know that he has a book plan in progress, and maybe he'll share with a little bit about that at the end. But thank you, Carlos, for joining me, and I'm happy to have you here.
Hi, Wendy. Nice to see you again. Can't wait to talk about the topics you have in mind.
Well, thanks for taking the time. I know you're really busy and you have a job and you have kids and you have a lot of time with now. Yay. And you're married, and, so Carlos, yay. So tell me, if you can tell the people who are listening, when you started out on this journey to get time with your kids and spend more time with your kids, and what kind of led to this realization or epiphany that's what you wanted. Because from what I understand about your story, that you weren't always spending all the time with them that you are now.
I definitely was. Like I said, I think when we first met, I talked to you and I said that I would label myself as an okay dad. And I felt like I was an okay dad due to the amount of time and maybe connection that I had with my kids at the time because of work and being gone a lot, and then maybe getting caught up in my own emotional problems that I had in the relationship with their mom, and then maybe hiding within that, and then my kids unfortunately suffered due to that. So I was not an altogether person, yet we were together, but my kids were the ones truly that were suffering because, as my current wife has told me, sometimes we do things to survive, and that's not really thriving. And I felt like that's exactly what was missing in my children's lives is thriving. And I worked a lot. I didn't do a lot of the things maybe that their mom did at the time, but I wasn't completely checked out. But I don't think that I was anywhere near the father that I am now to my kids.
And so let me ask you this: how do you think that affected the kids at the time, or did they notice, or did they not notice yet it affected them?
Yes, my oldest is, I think she's mature enough to know or saw enough and heard enough to really have had a big effect on her. And I've had to really do some in the past or not so long ago, had to like really look at myself and how I was going to go about explaining to her that, I needed to assume at least 50% of what had happened in a way that that I would also give a voice to her feelings and her concerns. And that's what I wanted to do. And we talked about that, and I told her, and come to find out that at some point she actually felt that she was in some way responsible for the divorce of me and her mom. And that was very, very hard to swallow, but it was a good reminder that it was time to get out. And thank God that all the events that happened, looking back, took place because, we could have fast forwarded 10 years and I could have basically, scarred my daughter for life. Some of those things, and my son, and a lot of that stuff could have not been undone had it just continued to just sit there and just, a lot of people do things like I always hear the term, stay for the kids and like things of that nature, or maybe finances are like a big deal, and like you think that those things are more important and that you're not going to be able to solve any of those things if you leave your situation. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Is like my mom tells me, she's like, one day at a time. You take care of everything one day at a time. If you try to like just solve it all in one shot, you'll never want to leave a very broken relationship, because you just think of everything. And there are a lot of things, but as long as you take them one at a time and prioritize your kids and your own well-being, and get yourself some help after that, and really admit your own mistakes. And if you really want to go, for me in my um, situation, I know that when I admitted the mistakes that I made and own them, because you have to own them, and you really have to you have to be honest with yourself about, you can't blame everybody for everything that's gone wrong in your life. Like I've spoken to you, like I had a really tough childhood, and I saw a lot of abuse and alcohol abuse and things growing up. And I myself even suffered child abuse. And those things I know molded me as a man as I progressed in life, in a lot of broken relationships. But finally, this was like this, the final thing that really like just busted it wide open for me. And that's when I really took a big look at myself and saw that, I couldn't continue to blame my parents and things that they did, and they could no longer fix. I mean, they're already elderly, they're good people, and we all make mistakes. And I think that once I forgave them and then forgave myself and realized that, I wasn't a bad person, I made a lot of bad decisions, and it cost me dearly. But then looking back at those things have helped me get to where I am now, like personally. Like, my father wasn't a person that would get on his knees and ask you, what's wrong with, how does your day going today, Mijo? Like, what's bothering you today? Or like, what can I do to make your life? That's not the era that I grew up in, nor did my parents. And I couldn't hold that against them. They're just very hardened people. They came up a certain way, and now they're very soft, and now they're more receptive to hearing things from their grandkids. And but I draw from that, and that has given me a lot of strength, to really look to have a connection with my kids. Like, because I think all I was doing before is I was a body, I was money to them, and that's it. Like, I was just a body, but empty inside, and I really couldn't offer them what they really need. And those are things that help keep you going.